Let me paint the picture for you. In the tiny town of Lyman, down in Wayne County, a pink ribbon showed up on a pole near a longtime neighbor's home. A simple tribute for someone folks there called their quiet guardian. That's where we start. Hey, I'm Garrett.
And I'm Leah. Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett in Salt Lake City. Let's open the book on this. First up, the Lyman community mourns the loss of quiet guardian Margaret Oldroyd. She was 86 and was shot and killed inside her home in Wayne County in March 2026. Lyman is a small town where everybody tends to know each other, so a loss like this hits in every kitchen and every pew. Neighbors tied a pink ribbon near her home 2 days later in March 2026 as a gentle sign of love and remembrance. People called her a quiet guardian because she devoted her days to caring for others. Sometimes the folks who do the most never look for credit. That's the part that gets me. In a tight-knit place, one violent act can feel like it shakes the whole foundation. Quiet guardian is more than a nickname. It's a role a lot of communities rely on.
Yeah, that kind of blew my mind. Violence cutting into the life of someone so caring is like the last person you'd ever expect. And you know those quiet contributions, checking on a neighbor, bringing a casserole, keeping an eye out, they add up to real safety and trust. Losing that presence leaves a bigger hole than you'd think at first glance. All right, let's roll on. Next up, a Netflix documentary features the Salt Lake Tribune's investigation into a polygamous prophet accused of abuse. Quick definitions here. The Salt Lake Tribune is our major local newspaper known for deep dive investigative work. Investigative just means research-heavy reporting that uncovers facts many people don't see. The film airs in April 2026, and it pulls in the Tribune's reporting, plus photographs by Tolga Kadas, a photographer who documented parts of this story. There are testimonies from members of a fundamentalist community in Colorado City, Arizona. Fundamentalist meaning a very strict, literal approach to religious beliefs. Here's the point that hits. When local journalism breaks a tough story and it ends up in a global streaming doc, that shows the reach and impact of homegrown reporting. It connects our backyard to national conversations, and honestly, it can move the needle on awareness and accountability.
That's close to the heart of it. Shining a light matters when people are vulnerable and afraid to speak. And when a big platform like Netflix lifts up reporting by a local newsroom, it can make complex topics more understandable. Why now, though? What do you think pushed this story onto the screen at this moment?
Timing-wise, I'd guess the reporting was mature, the sources ready, and the photos and testimony created a clear record. Documentaries live on evidence. Once those pieces line up, you have a story the public can actually see and hear. Yeah, that checks out.
Okay, let's move on. Utah legislation could shift control over Salt Lake City streets. The legislature passed SB 242 in March 2026. SB stands for Senate Bill. It's a proposed law from the state Senate. This bill would give UDOT, the Utah Department of Transportation, permanent control over some city streets in Salt Lake City, and it puts limits on the city's traffic calming. Traffic calming is a simple term for design choices that slow cars down and make streets safer, like speed humps, narrower lanes, or planters. It's now on Governor Spencer Cox's desk for a signature. He's the state's top executive who can sign or veto bills. Senator Wayne Harper, a lawmaker from Taylorsville, is a key backer. The bigger idea here is a long-running tug-of-war between state-level control and city-level decision-making over infrastructure. Infrastructure just meaning the roads, signals, and sidewalks we all use. The implications are real for neighborhood projects that try to cut speeds or reduce cut-through traffic.
Speaking of which, I get aiming for consistency statewide, but clamping down on local pilots feels risky. Streets in, say, the avenues aren't the same as big arterials out west. Different problems, different fixes. Why not let the city test what works block by block? Kind of wild this moved forward despite concerns from folks who walk and bike those corridors daily. Let's keep it moving. Utah faces a 16% surge in gas prices amidst global tensions. The driver here is the ongoing war in Iran. Global conflicts can rattle oil markets by threatening supply or shipping routes, which then bumps prices everywhere. Diesel, the fuel most big trucks run on, is rising even faster, and that puts pressure on trucking companies to raise freight rates. Freight is just the cost to move goods. It's a ripple effect. Higher transport costs often show up later on your grocery receipt. To ground it, in March 2026, regular gas at the Costco in Bountiful was posted at $2.79 a gallon. Numbers change station to station, but that snapshot tells you the trend. Distant headlines are hitting our pumps right here, right now.
That's a thread worth pulling on. Families who commute, small businesses making deliveries, even weekend trips up the canyons, it all adds up. If you can, maybe combine errands, carpool with a neighbor, or check transit options where they fit. Not a cure, but it helps when global stuff like this conflict squeezes the local budget. Last up, Powder Mountain's $40 million upgrade. Powder Mountain is the resort in Weber County, and it's owned by a group that includes Reed Hastings, the co-founder of Netflix. The plan expands public terrain and base facilities, and for the 2026 to 2027 season, a new public lift will reach the DMI area. DMI stands for Don't Mention It, and until now, it's been accessible mainly by guided tours. Guided meaning you had to go with a resort guide rather than on your own. Opening more than 1,000 acres that used to be limited is a big swing. More options for skiers and riders, likely more day visitors from Salt Lake City, and honestly, a bump for local businesses in the valley. Tourism thrives on access, and this is a textbook access move.
I'm down for that. More lift-served terrain usually means lines spread out and more room to explore. And from the city, it's a doable day trip if you time it right. Opening up spots that were off the beaten path to the wider public, yeah, that checks out as a win for a lot of us who love snow days.
And that's where we'll leave it for now. We'll be back tomorrow in Salt Lake City.
So, there we have it, folks. Stay curious, and we'll catch you then.